open the public meeting for the Carver Conservation Commission. For today is February 6, 2003, if you weren't aware.
2013.
2013, yeah, oops, not 2003. Oops, lost 10 years. All right, now.
Mr. Chair, if I may, the first item was an error on the part of our us in the office. So that Eagle Scout is actually not coming to us. They were at a different meeting last night, and it just sort of got on here accidentally.
I have a question about those, Austin. The Veterans Memorial, is this the Veterans Memorial building or Veterans Memorial, the forest down on
My understanding it's the one on Lakenham Green.
Lakenham Green, okay. So, next item is a COC request for 50 Pine Street. And everything's in order for that?
Yes, it is. Although I remember Russ requesting something about a berm.
Mm-hmm.
Was that
Between the pavement and the bog.
we would like for you to do this rather than you shall do this?
I think it would
Can
be
you
good.
speak into the mic there, Russ?
Oh, excuse me. I think it would be good, not required,
Okay.
because there is amount of space, but I think it would be beneficial to put that in. Doesn't have to be very high.
Right. This is another one of those cases where it's the homeowner who actually owns the bog also, and so we can't say, well, it's your own interest to do it.
Right.
Somebody else works the bog for them, but I don't know. I would think it was clear that we should isolate anything that goes along the roadway from what might flow into the bog.
Well, if I may, I was out there today, and I just had my personal camera, so I don't know if I can download it to this computer, but I'll send it to myself. I didn't really see a place where it looked like anything was going to be running off the driveway into the cranberry bog. The only thing that I saw was that kind of empty space where she has her sand piles for the bogs, and those are sand piles for the bogs. We can't really regulate that, so.
Isn't that down? I'm recollecting now. But aren't the sand piles down past
The end of
the entrance to,
They're very close to the house.
right,
So if you go all the way down the driveway, they're almost to the end of the driveway, but not quite. It makes a nice little turnaround. It's quite a distance from the bogs at that point. And most of the way around, there's maybe one little spot where it's a little bit close to the edge of the bog, but there's no like loose dirt or anything. It's all vegetated.
Yeah, it is. There's a vegetated barrier.
So I guess I
It's
didn't.
not raised. That's the big thing. I think the question was that
It's still
flush.
not raised, and I
Yeah.
guess that's the thing. We didn't actually, I hate to say it, but we didn't actually have it in the order of conditions. I mean, it's not something that you guys actually wanted to make them do, so.
Well, part of the problem comes up that the fact that we didn't anticipate them paving it because we actually weren't going to allow it initially.
Right.
So if it weren't paved, there wouldn't be the problem because whatever spilled would drop into the ground rather than flowing toward the bog.
if you feel it's just
Okay.
extra work for them, I have no problem with that. I was just thinking that if the water came down the hill, up from where the house is, had a real torrential rain and so forth,
Okay.
might come down, run across the hot top, and if you could stop it or drive it, move it in some direction other than into the bog. That was all.
I see what you're saying. Yeah, I can see what you're saying. The place where it would run, though, is if the driveway's like this, but the place where it would run is that big kind of arm where she has her sand piles. So, to me, it looked like it was far enough away.
You're the expert,
But you're the commission. You get to vote.
but I'll yield.
Okay, well, then we'll take it as is. There's no other, is there any way that we could add just a notice, a sort of note on it that we would like to have a berm placed? No?
Not at this point.
Okay. I'd like to see what the COC looks like, but it's okay. Okay, well, let's have a motion then to approve the COC for 50 Pine Street, DEP number SC 126-490.
Make a motion to accept the COC for 50 Pine Street.
I'll second it.
It's been moved and seconded to issue a COC for 50 Pine Street. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Passed unanimously.
Okay, and here is the document for your signatures.
No.
Jen, did Russ make the motion?
We have, Judy made the motion, Russ seconded.
Thanks.
Okay. The next item on the agenda is minutes from September 19th, October 17th, November 7th, and December 5th. Do we have any of those available? We've got, I see November 7th, I see December 5th.
Yes, those are the two that we actually have tonight.
Okay, so we'll do those. So let's do November 7th first. I'm set. Are there any? Are we set to go with this? Judy, are you still on November 7th? So reading
No,
that.
I'm on the next one.
Oh.
I'm all set.
Okay. Would someone make a motion to approve the minutes as written, please?
So move.
I'll second it.
Been moved and seconded to approve the minutes of November 7th, 2012 as written. All those in favor, please say aye.
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 One
Any opposed?
abstain.
One abstention, okay. So no negatives, but one abstention. Okay. And now we'll have December 5th.
Yes. Excuse me, I just wanted to ask, who made the motion to approve the November 7th? And then Judy seconded.
Judy
Okay.
second.
I second it.
Okay, thank you.
What in the world? October 12th. These minutes make reference to a minutes for October 12th, 2012. Now, is that a correct date? Because in our agenda, actually, we are referring to minutes for October 17th, 2012.
We met both dates.
We did meet both days, I'm sure.
We did, we wanted to view, we wanted to correct some minutes, and I
Okay,
wanted to show you
That's right,
guys
that was that special meeting.
the
I forgot
DVD,
that, yeah.
and it was very short.
Okay. I'd forgotten that already. Wow. So, I'm set with these, but.
make a motion to accept the minutes of December 5th.
Second?
It's been moved and seconded to accept the minutes of December 5th, 2012 as written. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? No. Okay. So now, then in the FYIs from the agent, we have the reminder about the state ethics law, required reading and documentation of the final page that has to be turned into the town clerk's office, along with a copy of the certificate.
Mr. Chair,
Yes.
that's just one part of this document. You also need, at the bottom of the page of the email I sent you from the town administrator's office, there's a website that you need to go to. There's an exam that you need to take.
Yes.
And so there's both a certificate and an exam. And I did want to stress for those of you who might want some assistance with the computer, please come to the office and we can walk you through it. I'm fine with that.
Yeah, well, it's my understanding that the exam, you have to take the exam before you get the certificate. That's
You know,
linked.
the summary, you read the summary and then sign it saying that you
Right.
that you read it. That comes into our office and we make a copy and give the original to
Correct.
the clerk's office.
But in order to get a certificate, you have to actually take the exam. Go through
Correct.
them. Yeah. And this is what they also want. So they want the final page of the documentation printed out, which you'll sign and bring in, and as well as the certificate, which you get after you take the exam and pass. Okay. So, Route 58 upgrade.
So I have in your packets, this is just to let you know some of the things that are going on. We've had several meetings with the Mass Highway and also the DPW's engineers who are planning on this new upgrade. They asked us to meet with them not too long ago to talk about the landscaping for really for the center of town area more than anything, as well as lighting and that sort of thing. So I had drawn up a little booklet here where I gave them sort of what I thought was a good collection of flowering perennials, ground covers, shrubs, and trees. Most of them are native, not all of them, but none of them are invasive. So it's just sort of for your interest and reading pleasure to look at.
They were good.
And of course, if there's something that you think should definitely be there, would like to suggest, let me know. I can send it along. It's still in its planning stages right now. So, but I think it hopefully it will look really nice, this whole project.
Took a look-see at those. Not a botanist, but they look very nice.
Thank you.
Sarah, are those all the ones that you're going to be using, or are they just the ones you've put in to submit?
These are the ones that I just recommended.
Oh, okay.
I didn't want to see, the planning board, and we've always had this too, but planning board has a sort of a rule that they adopted that for no invasive species. And so whenever I write one of those technical reviews to the planning board as a department head, I always put that in there too, that we would prefer no invasive species. So these are just, I tried to get plants that were low maintenance, because I don't want to see buildings and grounds or DPW spending a lot of time pruning things or untangling them, or so these are just ones that me and the staff came up with. Yeah. And we'll see. I mean, they may not use all of these too. There's only a certain amount of money.
Right.
It's federal money, so you know, one more street light or decorative street posts may mean one less tree, or so we'll see what happens. Yeah.
Whose choice is it as to what goes in?
Well, we're
Is it
working.
your recommendation?
It's not just me. I mean, this project is really Bill Hallion's, you know, project, the DPW project, but they're working with all of us, and we met with, the Jack Hunter and I and Bill met, and the fire chiefs, the police chief, the EMS director, because there's gonna be a lot of curb cut questions, and you don't want plantings right where the emergency vehicles are gonna be coming out. You have sight distance issues there. So we all kind of sat down and met with the DPW's engineers this visit. It wasn't Mass Highway for this visit. I'm sure they'll try to do whatever they can to try and get things that we're requesting, but it may not always work out. And the way that, what's gonna happen is the Meadowbrook Way, where are we? Yes, it's over here, is gonna be aligned with West Street. And so some of the entrance to the town hall here will be cut off and will be kind of a green space. And the main entrance to all the municipal complex will become Meadowbrook Way, both in and out. And then there'll be a larger area of green space next to the library as well. So the road goes this way now, but kind of go this way. So you have a lot of potential there for some sort of nice planting area. And they have a landscape architect, I guess, or designer on board. And so we'll all sort of be working together. But I wanted to get to them first before they started throwing out wild things that just aren't going to work.
I'd like to see more blueberries.
We could do blueberries. We could do blueberries.
As long as you don't pick 'em.
Okay.
I also tried to put down plants that if they're going to be planted near the library, that's kind of the corner where the children come out of the library, and I wanted to make sure everything was edible. Not that we're trying to encourage that, it's just children sometimes tend to do things like that. No lily of the valley.
Shucks. Okay, so that's good. Anybody have comments on that? Questions? I guess that's all been answered. The next item is the Agricultural Commission request for a proposal, which is the, to deal with the coal bogs.
Correct. I am going to be meeting with the Ag Commission very, very soon. I forget the exact date.
Wednesday night?
Next Wednesday. And we had tried sending out what we called a solicitation of cost for a one-year proposal, but obviously no one answered, because if, you know, you're asking them to work on this cranberry bog for a year, and you may not even get a crop that year, and so they're putting all this money into it. So we decided to go for the traditional, the real thing, which is a 3-year proposal, and that's state procurement law that governs that, so you have to do it for a 3-year period. You can renew it for 1 more year, and then you have to go out to bid again for 3 years. So, but at least this gives whoever might apply the chance to get the bog up and running and actually make some sort of profit doing it. So we're hoping we'll get more responses. And I'm going to be meeting with the Ag Commission next Wednesday to get their blessing on this, and then we'll send it out. We've tried to reserve the right to have a community dry harvest up there the way we used to do. There's a number of things that we've tried to give whoever is the bog manager a little bit of encouragement by saying, if we'd like you to give a little percentage back to the town, but that's only if you make a profit. So obviously, if they're operating just barely, they don't have to feel like they have to return anything.
Sarah,
Yes.
when you say get these things out, to whom or how?
Well, it depends on how the Agricultural Commission votes. If they think it's going to that it's possible for there to be over $25,000 that a bog manager could make there in the best of all possible worlds, then it has to be advertised. And there's Rick is the procurement officer. I have nothing to do with that. So he has a set way that he's required by law to do. And that means, advertising in certain publications, et cetera. If the Ag Commission doesn't think it will be that much, but will be under that, then the requirements are slightly different. You can send it to, 3 or more people of your choice. So.
But anybody who hears about it could bid on it.
Sure.
Who's a bog grower, who has a bog and grows cranberries.
Yep. And if it's the latter, if we're not required to advertise it, I'd leave that up to the Ag Commission as to who they want it sent to. That's their expertise, so.
Just not exactly related to this, but in theme, do any of the vocational schools in our areas have agricultural programs? I don't know if Old Colony, Folk Tech, or Bristol Plymouth over in Middleborough.
I think Bristol Plymouth does, but I'm not sure.
I was wondering if this fails to get somebody to take it up. I'm wondering whether they might be interested in, the school might be interested in becoming involved with it. Well, something maybe the Ag Commission could look into on their own. Okay, well, we'll let that.
The next item, I don't really have anything to show you. We're just Peg and I are just trying to keep you up to speed about what's going on. Trying to map impervious surface area. Something that the EPA is requiring that the DPW do, and so since I have the software, we're trying to figure it out. It's really not easy. The MACC winter training schedule, I think, should be in your folders, the information about it.
I don't see it, but if it's online, we can just.
It is.
Do we get it as an email? I thought.
Yeah,
I think you should be getting it as an email.
Yeah, I think we should. So. We'll look for it. And the last is the letter to the CPC.
Yes, that's just to let you know that what's going on with the property. There'd been some assertions that there were some wetlands on the Church Street property, and basically I was just laying out what their process is, what the rec committee's process is, so that they should include in their survey request to the Community Preservation Committee enough, of a buffer to include having the wetlands delineated if there are any. I don't know if there are any, actually. So that's all that is.
Any questions about any of these items? Okay. Did we set or did Mr. Ranella say he was going to proceed with getting an application together?
He has already applied to the Community Preservation Committee.
Right.
For, I haven't actually seen it, but for certain, a proposal for both a Church Street property and it would be the area, the front 6 acres of that former Savory Meadows acre that's become part of the conservation land there. And it's just that front 6 acres that belongs to the selectmen. But we don't really know whether the wetland boundary there has ever actually been delineated on the ground, so that would be part of his
Right.
proposal, yeah.
And then once he gets this grant from the CPC,
Well, if
then
he
he'll
does.
proceed to file for either a notice of intent or, was it
If-
RTA?
If he needs to, I mean, that's the point. If there are wetlands near where they
Flagging
think
will
they're gonna be
determine
building
it.
the
Okay.
field, then yeah, he would do that.
I think
And-
it's just to hire a consultant to go in and see what
Right.
Yeah.
we can do, because,
Yep.
you know, they already applied for.
Judy, you wanna speak into that mic too? We wanna hear what you say.
No, I just said we just got the application. They just want to hire somebody to go in and, you know, and find out what we can do with it.
Sure.
Well, really, they want to find out what part is actual wetlands and what is available
What
otherwise.
they can do.
Right. And then
Where they
it'll be
put- where
determined
they
what
can
they,
put ball fields, because that's supposed to be the whole, the whole idea.
okay.
And as I said, we don't know that there are any actually wetlands. If that turns out to be 6 acres and it's all upland and they're not putting anything near wetlands that are there, then that's fine.
Right. Yeah, also, they'll be going to be, the same person ideally is going to be looking at the Zero Church Street
Correct.
property, and which also someone claims there are wetlands involved. But that's not our concern at this point. So, okay, that concludes the FYI, and we have 2 items of other business. Here, the budget and the agent's report.
So I did send this to, I know I sent you guys a lot of things to look at, but I wanted to do it so you weren't seeing it all for the first time tonight. The budget has included, this is a revised version, at the commission's request from our last time we talked about it, has included an amount in the budget to, for recording secretarial services. And the rest of it, I think, is pretty much the way it was the last time you saw it. So if you want to, and feel that you can, it would be nice to have a vote to recommend the budget for FY 2014.
I'm set with the, both the budget and the report. If, when everybody else feels they're ready, we'll have a vote to accept or recommend or,
Oh, yeah, recommend, if you could do them separately too,
Yeah.
that'd be good.
okay. we'll take the report first. Somebody want to make a motion to recommend the annual report of the Conservation Commission?
So moved.
Second it.
It's been moved and seconded to recommend the annual report of the Conservation Commission for 2013. And is that?
Yeah, it's actually calendar year 2012, but
Calen-
it's for the 2013 town meeting
Okay.
in the spring.
Okay. All those in favor of recommending, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Now, that's passed unanimously. And now a motion to recommend the budget for fiscal year 2014 as written by the agent.
So moved.
Second it.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded to recommend the fiscal year 2014 budget request for the Concom. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Passed unanimous also, so recommended.
Good night.
Okay. So at this point, with no hearings scheduled and no continued hearings on the agenda, we could entertain a motion for adjournment.
Make a motion, we adjourn?
Second.
Been moved and seconded to adjourn. All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Any opposed?